Now we're going to begin questions from the members up here. And with that, I will recognize myself for 5 minutes. And Mr. Brooks, since you, again, spent those 5 hours in Chicago in that airport, I feel like I should start with you. Thank you again for being here today. As you know, the biodiesel tax credit has been key to growing your industry and our state. I know that our gas stations and truck stops, and therefore consumers and truck drivers, also benefit from this tax credit to keep actually gas prices low. Can you explain how the credit works to the committee, and then how does your company use the credit, and why is its lapse so damaging that it's forcing some plants to shut down?
Thank you, Congresswoman FInkenauer, for the question. First, the biodiesel tax incentive is a $1 per gallon credit available to the taxpayer who blends the biodiesel or renewable diesel into the petroleum diesel fuel, who either use or sell the mixture or trade it with their business. The net effect is that each gallon of biodiesel and renewable diesel used in the United States offers $1 of revenue value throughout the value and supply chain. Secondly, the flexibility of the incentive, which is extended prospectively, spurs both investments in production when the producer claims a portion of the credit, and in the blending infrastructure when the discretionary blender uses a portion of the credit. Unfortunately, the biodiesel tax incentive lapses. The market relies on Congress's history to retroactively reinstate that credit. So someone must bear the burden of taking the risk. The downside of the market reliance is that at least one party, the producer or the discretionary blender, eventually has to be held on accounts receivable. Finally, as discretionary blenders become less and less willing to take the pricing risk associated with the uncertainty of the extending tax incentive, biodiesel and renewable diesel producers are forced to bear the risk, the full risk, and are exposed to the $1 per gallon price risk on every gallon produced.
Thank you so much. And could you also elaborate just a little bit further, too, on how the uncertainty surrounding the renewable fuel standard and the biodiesel tax credit is impacting our farmers and our rural communities just a little more broadly?
Yes,
and what you're hearing on the ground. Yeah.
Okay. The uncertainty of the RFS because of not growing the volumes in the last 5 years has created havoc to the Midwest farmer, as seen by the prices that they're bringing at harvest time. They're in the red as compared to the first 5 years of the RFS. We've got trade wars, the uncertainty, then you throw the SREs into the mix. It creates a problem for the markets in RINs generation, which affects fuel prices. Then the producer can't sell at a stable price, creating further instability in the market. And farmers that are investors in the plant suffer because of the grain price, they suffer because of the uncertainty of the market, and they're suffering because of the investments that they made in renewable energy.
Thank you. And actually, something that I learned when I was visiting you guys at the plant not that long ago had to do with something that we're watching very closely with the Department of Commerce. Right now, I understand that they are considering reducing countervailing duty rates on biodiesel from Argentina. As you know, Argentina's policies were undercutting American biodiesel producers, and the current countervailing and anti-dumping duty orders were meant to level the playing field. In the short time that they've been in place, I understand that the rates have been successful in keeping out these unfairly priced imports. Can you tell us if the Department of Commerce moves forward with reducing these rates, what impact will that have on Western Dubuque biodiesel and other small businesses like yours?
Good question, Chairwoman. When the countervailing duties were not in place, we saw production decrease to 60% of capacity throughout the Midwest and the United States. So the differential tax credit that Argentina had allowed the feedstocks, i.e. biodiesel, to come into the United States cheaper than the farmer could even grow the bean and have the oil crushed from. And as a result, discretionary blenders were taking advantage of the market, driving prices down with cheaper imports coming into the country.
So it would be fair to say that that you would agree that the administration and the Department of Commerce and Secretary Ross should not be allowing these countervailing measures and to go away, and if they did, it would be detrimental.
Yes, ma'am, and I've told him as much personally.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mr. Brooks. And with that, my time is about to expire, so I would like to recognize Dr. Joyce for his 5 minutes.